I am talking to you because we are building a tribe that is focused on one single objective of nirvana for everyone, and that we are building as soon as possible. Though the tribe is small, like it follows a Dunbar number of around 150 people, we will together walk towards nirvana on the commonly known and agreed upon uh, directions so that we reach nirvana as soon as possible. And we want to see that the tribe is self-sustaining and full-fledged by 2027. That's why we have Project Nirvana 2027. And so, in order to share this with the general public, so that you can also gauge if nirvana is your true interest, that is freedom. And just this message might be enough for some people to come, explore, and know more about what we intend to do and see if it suits them and join the tribe. But that alone might not be sufficient for others. And to address some basic concerns about what our thoughts are and what the truth is, uh, we are recording these videos where we discuss the culture of the tribe, where we discuss how the tribe is organized, or how nirvana or freedom comes to a human being and how we walk there, whatever. So, consider this as an FAQ series. In case you have some specific questions which we have not covered, you can always reach out to us. I'll leave the email in the description. Yeah. So earlier we spoke in a previous episode about what nirvana or total freedom means, what is true freedom. And now we will talk about what a tribe means, and a tribe that speaks the truth, that lives in the truth, and also seeks the truth, the eternal truth. That's freedom, that's nirvana. So, for more insights about the tribe, continue listening. Uh, let's start off.
Yes, that was a great start. Now, we are living in nuclear families. We have lived in joint families. For example, my mother, but we don't know what it means to be in a tribe. It's been probably hundreds of years since people lived in tribes. So now, why are we bringing this concept of tribe back? Why is it needed? We have tribes, we have communities. What does it mean to actually be in a tribe? Is something that we don't know. So what does it really mean?
See, that was a multi-dimensional question. I'll answer you bit by bit. What does it mean to be in a tribe? To be in a tribe means you are living with a group of people who will continue to live with you as long as you are alive, or as long as they are alive. And you will raise the progeny of the tribe together. What happens to the tribe would be how the tribe behaves collectively in response to a situation would be based on the collective consensus of the tribe, and the consensus usually is formed around a challenge. When you have a theme or a moral value that is established, it is quite easy to form a consensus, because people will start thinking in same lines when they are together, um, and they have they have similar motivations. Uh, that's what it means to be in a tribe.
When we say similar motivations, what do we mean?
The similar motivation as total freedom or nirvana.
Okay, so what you're saying is this tribe, everybody in the tribe should have the same common goal or purpose, which is nirvana.
Yes, that's the metric for entry. Like if somebody wants to join the tribe, and they can come to us, talk to us, and convey their interest and what their experiences were in trying for total freedom, or why they want to get into that. And if that is convincing enough to the people who are already in the tribe, they will let them in.
And is it really important for people or for tribes, different tribes, to have their common purpose as freedom? Could it be
Um,
anything else?
See, fundamentally, by nature, our human common purpose was mostly survival. The reason for um, hundreds of thousands of years of hunting and gathering tribes was that together they survive, alone they perish, they die, they don't even have progeny. Even if it's nuclear, they won't make it out in the wild. That was the theme. But now, um, it's not survival that motivates me. It's freedom. More importantly, there's a underlying cause as well. So nirvana or total freedom brings along with it a lot of information, knowledge, or skill about the external world that we live in. Even once we enter the path, once we start the journey, our senses get sharper, like our sight gets better, our hearing gets better. um, all that is quite essential. Imagine, like, um, people have dumbed themselves down, to be plain. Like, for example, a man who would have been out in the forest, say, even if whatever simple activity he does, he has to go pick berries, right? So he is going out, venturing out into the woods, trying to look for trees with berries, right? Now his ears are constantly listening to all the sounds around him in perfect present tense.
Mm.
So in perfect present tense, what you have is nirvana. Once you practice perfect present tense, not thinking about future or past, your mind will freeze, and that's how you rise up in the journey to nirvana. That's one thing. Our senses have to be active. Like our sight must be really cautious. Him not being cautious for a second could mean his death. Like the smell should be really, um, for example, there could be a tiger around, or he could smell something odd, which could be a threat. His eyesight has to be really sharp. He cannot afford to have a weak sense perception. At the same time,
But how is that related to tribe?
right, what I am telling you is about the heightened sense perception of people who lived long, long ago in tribes,
Hmm.
and trying to give you a comparison of that with what is happening today. Like, if somebody has to go to the supermarket and get some whatever cornflakes, or milk, whatever, he is least concerned about a predator around him. He need not be concerned about the scent or the sight.
I agree, but isn't that related to living in the wild? And I'm not able to relate how is that enhanced sense perception. Yes, of course, I understand when in the tribes they were in the forest, so they
Right,
they were naturally with that sense perception. But how is that related to tribe is what I'm trying to understand.
right.
So do
So,
you mean we have to live in a tribal setup in the wild?
see, I um, as far away from civilization as possible is what we have to live in. Now, there are a series, or I have a presentation called Checkmate where I discuss how human beings have entered a scenario where they are playing a game of chess with nature, and now it's like checkmate.
Hmm.
So, where nature gives us a checkmate, the human species. If the original question, let me not move away from that
Yes.
much, was why do you want Nirvana as the motto for this tribe? One thing, basically, that was my motivation. Next, if a tribe uh, is worth saving, that's a tribe which is seeking Nirvana. That's how I understand it. More importantly, as all of them move together towards the direction of Nirvana, of course, their sense perception will enhance, which means they can perceive threats quicker. That's why I spoke about sense perception. They can perceive threats sooner, which means they have better chance of survival. Right? When you build a tribe, it needs the best chance of survival in the long run. So it should keep going. Only when you have a heightened sense perception like the ancient tribes had, or even better than that, even in this world of so many challenges and threats, we can still continue to survive. You got my point now, how the sense perception connects. Now,
Yeah.
the next thing is there's something really interesting there. A person moving in the direction of Nirvana has his senses heightened, I told you that, and his information, he receives information from nature and he figures out things. It comes as instinct. Almost every new idea comes as instinct to a person if it's really something new,
Mm-hmm.
right? If it's not inference from a prior known concept, and if he's bringing up something from nowhere, even if it was Einstein, he's solving a problem and he can't find the solution. He is riding on the bus. He is not being bothered about this at all. Suddenly, the solution occurs to him from nowhere. So, such information comes from nature, from existence itself. That's how people moving in the direction of enlightenment get knowledge from the dimension of consciousness.
My question wasn't still answered. I'm still trying to bring us to the point. How is the question? How?
No,
How in a tribe is this happening? The missing piece, I'll tell you, I think this
no. The
gets
question was,
Mhm.
why do you want Nirvana to be the central theme of a tribe?
Right. You sent
So I have to still answer that.
right. So you said if we are in the path of freedom or nirvana, we will have a heightened sense perception.
That's one reason.
I'm saying when if we are in the path of freedom, why is my sense perception being enhanced? How?
Right. I'll answer that. That's a different.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the next part of it, of course. But why Nirvana has one more very important reason. So, as there is significant progress in this direction of Nirvana, somebody reaches the state of a Buddha, then the tribe, not just the tribe, the entire human race is to benefit. Right? You can do things where um, you can devise plans, or you can do things where you can truly lead humanity as a whole. So that is a striking possibility that happens only with true freedom or nirvana. And that's why nirvana should be the central theme of the tribe that we build with so much effort in a society that's global. We are trying something radically different, and it should be for a really meaningful purposes such as this. Now, why was your other question, right?
how?
How?
How being in a tribe, um, you took an example of the ancestral tribes or the indigenous tribes earlier, which are there or which are still existent
Hmm.
today. who, and by living together as tribes, we are saying you have better chance at survival. You are more close to getting that freedom that you're seeking for. How?
Right.
How is it happening? By being in a tribe. How is it that people in a tribe are helping each other, or what is the dynamics of this tribe that is taking us closer to freedom or survival or whatever that is?
No, it is not taking us closer to whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
taking us closer to freedom. If motto of everybody in the tribe is
Mm-hmm.
freedom,
Mm-hmm.
obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and survival, even, like, I'll give you a kindergarten answer to that first.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of a story where a man teaches his children to break a pile of sticks together
Mm.
and then pick up a stick by stick and
Yes.
break. A tribe is more resilient at survival. That's a kindergarten answer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, understanding that when people are moving in the direction of nirvana or freedom, how do they do that actually? They do that by observing the breath. When they observe the breath, the mind gets silenced. When the mind is silent, you start becoming just aware. Your sense perception, the degree of sense perception you have, is directly linked to the amount of awareness you have. The more aware you are, the more sensually active you are. If I'm not talking, if I'm not thinking, if I'm just still, and if I'm just there, I get a 360-degree perspective from the sounds that is happening around me, the smells, the taste of food that I eat tastes better.
So, in that case, are we saying you will find freedom when you are actually in the perfect present tense? Is that freedom?
Exactly. You have to practice it. Like perfect present tense now, right? You go there for a fraction of a second, but then you come back again, right? You have to practice being there for longer,
And the only way we can do that is by observing the breath.
right?
Because it's only if we take our
Well,
body,
after a while, like, even if you don't observe the breath, you can suddenly freeze.
yes.
But to start with is
So, what we are trying to then say here is we worry about the past. Our mind is either constantly, the mind has to hook up with something. It's like a creeper that is trying, that needs some support for it to, for it to survive. So, for the mind, it needs to either engage itself in the past memory or what's going to happen in the
speculate.
future,
Yeah,
speculate about the future. Now, if we leave this, both worrying about the past and speculating about the future, then what we are left is we are here
in
in
the
the now,
perfect
which,
present
and
tense.
we need not worry about, oh, what happened in 2 years ago or 3 years ago, for which we are carrying all that. It could be any kind of emotion that we carry, and that is what is actually weighing us down by being here now and enjoying this moment. Or we are worried about with the concept of money in the economy today, and the economy is structured in a way that we are constantly worried about future. We are not just worried about our future, we are worried about our children's future, we are worried about grandchildren future. And what we are actually worried about is just the economy. We are not worried about how we can provide them a better education, how we can make the earth better. All that is not in the syllabus, sorry. We are just worried about how I can make better money, how I can mm, give that comfort that we didn't have. I think this is all happening.
I'm not sure if I can generalize so brutally,
Yeah, I mean,
but
all that I'm saying,
I'm
this
not
is,
concerned about that.
yeah.
See, whatever happens happens in the world. it's
but I
nothing
think
to be so concerned about, especially when it comes to people's behavior or mindsets. Um,
no,
eh,
no, it's not about the people's behavior or mindset. I'm just saying the possibility that the mind can have for it to just keep itself engaged so that it
oh, it
misses the
that
joy or
you we cannot stop talking about it. Like
yeah, it's
it's
endless.
endless. It's either in future tense or in past tense. In perfect present tense, um, the time I used to say right now. Now, not the now I just said. Now, not the previous two ones that I just said. So it's a little hard sometimes if you cannot follow instruction when told that you have to observe your breath completely. If you can do that, it happens, but it takes a while.
Now, what I'm curious or yeah, I'm curious about is you said observing the breath will take you to perfect present tense. Yes, that's true. But is that all that is needed for a tribe? Are you saying that the only thing that the tribe will be doing is just sit there, observe their breath, and then they live in perfect present tense? Yes,
No,
they move along, in the now, but I think what I'm trying to connect this is to our the other interconnected goal, which is our cultural shift,
right, right,
because
right,
I think that's where I'm
right,
trying to go,
right,
because it's
uh,
all the things that tribe does, which is actually leading to that freedom,
right,
and all that. How is the question? Like how living in a tribe we are going to freedom? So that how is being answered by one word: culture.
right. um, Culture is like the sum total of, like I told, all the non-genetic information that a senior individual passes on to a junior individual of the species. But now, we need a new culture. Um, we cannot take any reference to the modern culture. We need to come to consensus and adapt new things as we go along. Um, the ideals around which this culture should be built, that's what I can tell you. And maybe we can discuss about the cultural shift, or different aspects of it in detail later. The ideals I can think of are: one, self-sufficiency. That should be in the culture. You should know how to source what you need and how to spend what you need, so that you're not dependent on the industrial economy, fossil fuels, or anything like that. The source is within the tribe, and you should understand that everything in nature moves in cycles. And if you don't pay attention to cycles and disrupt cycles, you will end up disrupting everything. That's where we are now as a global civilization. That's one thing. The second thing, one is self-sufficiency. The second thing is, uh, anything that we pick up as an activity, or a pastime that we do, or be it even a game, or be it anything that happens there, that should be rooted in freedom, which is the cause of bliss. Bliss is like happiness per 100. So it should be a place, or it should be a union of people who are in bliss, like so happy that even modern language doesn't have words to describe it. That's one ideal. The other ideal is self-sufficiency. Maybe we'll talk more about the cultural shift,
Yes.
and we'll record another episode of this. Meanwhile, if anybody who watched this video have any questions, or you want to make some comments, you can make comments in the videos, or mail us your questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.